Hey guys, Tavis Piattoly, sports dietitian with the Taylor Hooten Foundation. Happy New Year, and today's topic I want to talk to you guys about diet myths and also the power of habits. As we get into the new year, a lot of people are going to be going on a diet or starting a new plan for their health and fitness. So what are some diet myths that are really circulating, have been around, and a lot of people tend to trend to, but we want to try to avoid? Number one, carbs are bad, and if I eat carbs, I can't lose weight. This is completely false. First of all, let's look at Okinawans. 83% of the calories of an Okinawan diet come from carbohydrate. But let's keep in mind, let's look at the type of carbohydrates these individuals eat. They eat a lot of rice, which is demonized in our diet. They also eat a lot of fruit, and they eat a lot of good high fiber rich carbs. So in the United States, we eat a lot of processed carbs. We eat a lot of candy, cookies, pies, and cakes. And those things can still fit in our diet, but we don't need to demonize carbohydrates. Eliminating fruit, eliminating high fiber carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, also things like whole grain bread are not the reason you're not losing weight. It's really because we eat a lot of processed carbohydrates. So if you're not a very active person, then we maybe need to scale back on carbs, and only 25% of your plate should be carbohydrate. If you're training an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, then your body needs those carbs to optimize hormone levels, recovery, etc. So carbs are not the enemy. Actually, long-term studies over a year or more show that a moderate carbohydrate diet outperforms lower carbohydrate diets when it comes to fat loss. So number one, carbs not the enemy. Choose high quality carbs, fiber rich carbs. Those are going to be the key to keep blood sugar under control and keep you full a little bit longer. Number two is a diet myth is you have to go keto and eat 80% of your calories as fat. Now, this makes absolute no sense unless you are epileptic or unless you have a certain type of cancer that feeds on sugar. Then there's no need for us to be eating 80% of our diet from fat. Now, people think, well, if I eat all this fat and put butter in my coffee in MCT oil, I burn more fat. That is true. You burn more dietary fat. You don't necessarily burn more body fat or adipose tissue. You will lose adipose tissue. But what most people don't realize, and I see a lot of people celebrating, I lost 20 pounds last month on keto. That's great. Probably 16% of that, 16 pounds of that 20 is water and some muscle. There's going to be a lot of muscle loss on this, or I say a good percentage of muscle loss, as well as fluid, especially those first couple of months. That really doesn't mean anything. So we got to get away from the scale. The scale is just a number. It doesn't tell us really anything of what's happening inside your body. So, eating fat or following a ketogenic diet is really not sustainable long term. So we have to really think, is that the best approach? Now, I'm not saying don't do that. That might be something of benefit for a couple of weeks to get you jump started. But long term, research shows after 2 or 3 months, we can't sustain that. Number three is we have to go on calorie-restricted diets. That's another big myth. I see a lot of people selling programs and weight loss programs that run on 1,100, 1,200 calories, 1,000 calories. And yes, you will lose weight, but eventually what's going to happen is your body's metabolic system is going to quickly adapt, and it's going to not shut down, but you're going to lose also a lot of muscle. So the objective of a weight loss program is not how much weight you lose. It's does it change your habits? Can you maintain that? And what does your weight look like a year or two from now? So it's not about that weight loss. So restrictive calorie plans will work in the short term, but after 3 months, again, they don't sustain that, and we can't sustain those patterns. Also, if you restrict calories and you start at 1,000 or 1,100, you can't go any lower than that. So you really run the risk of affecting your muscle tissue, losing muscle, and then when you reintroduce your calories you had before, then eventually you're going to gain that weight back. So that's another reason I don't like those programs. Also, really another myth is I can't eat certain foods. I have to restrict foods that I love. Let's say you love ice cream or cookies or cake. These are demonized foods. I'm not saying these are foods we should be eating in abundance or eating every day, but at the same time, we should never look at these are bad as good. We have to stop demonizing food and really look at food as fuel. What fuels our body the best? What is really the nutrient-rich foods that we should be eating more of? Fruits, vegetables, lean protein, whole grains. And if you want to have a piece of cake or cookie every once in a while, then have that piece of cookie, and don't look at your day as my day is completely lost. I've ruined it. I can't eat anything else. And that's the mindset we create with our diet is once we eat something that we think is bad, everything else falls apart, and we need to stop doing that. And that should not be the case because there's a lot of media and a lot of false hope provided with a lot of programs. And then finally is let's focus on habits. Look at your diet, look at your lifestyle. What is one habit that you are practicing right now that's preventing you from reaching your goals? Are you eating too much processed food? Are you not exercising? Are you just not doing what you need to do? Are you consuming way too much alcohol on weekends? Figure out what's one thing you can do a little bit differently. Focus on that for the next month. Maybe you're drinking sodas and we need to get more water in your diet. So there's no magic pill. There's no magic program. There's no magic anything that's going to help you change your habits. It has to start with you and focusing on one habit at a time, balancing that, and working over that over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I hope this was useful. Thank you guys for following us. TaylorHooten.org. Have a great day.